Hello everyone, and welcome once again to the HORRORific podcast. Before we begin, can I just ask that you like and share these videos to help support our artists who very kindly contribute to the show. In this story we learn that when you cross the wrong people, well, sometimes debts have to be paid. It's my pleasure to present Greystones by Mark Hobson. Billy Woodhouse knew damn well that he had royally fucked up. So the last thing he needed was somebody telling him over the telephone that he had royally fucked up. Nevertheless, he had no option but to sit in his Land Rover and listen to the ranting voice at the other end of the line, busting his balls. His mobile was on speakerphone, and the grizzled and growly sound of the man's word grated inside Billy's brain, which was already pounding from the pain in his arm. A mixture of painkillers and angel dust that he had taken to dull the agony made his head all fuzzy, like it was filled with cotton wool. He had also just spent a sleepless and cold night in his vehicle, waiting for the inevitable tongue lashing that was bound to come.
You useless fucking cretin. Scare her off. That's what you're supposed to do. Put the frighteners on her. Make her look like a fucking teenage vandals or something, but not the bloody well try and kill her. Now you've made things 100 times worse. The law is all over the place, fucking asking questions.
Calm down, man, Billy replied. Everything will be fine. But my arm is... The voice cut him off, not interested in his well-being, even though in Billy's mind he had taken one for the team.
Listen to me. You need to sort your mess out. You need to deal with the situation. Understand? Things have changed now. Because of you, you're a bloody idiot, Woodhouse. But I'm giving you one chance to put things right. You need to go and deal with them once and for all. The woman and the man.
Before Billy could reply, the line went dead, and he sat looking at the mobile in his hand, wondering if he had heard right. Shit, he thought to himself, as he tossed the phone onto the passenger seat beside him. The words, the order, left little doubt as to their meaning. So, 20 minutes later, he was driving through the area's most notorious council estate, heading for Tiny Bob's house on Furnace Drive, with a knot of anxiety twisting his guts. Tiny Bob was actually 21 stone of huge blubber. As a result of his size and reliance on chip buddies, he was now housebound, his spindly legs unable to support his weight for anything more strenuous than stumbling around his home, or popping into town once a fortnight to sign on. He had had a toilet fitted downstairs, from the free grant given by the benefits office, and he needed help with his breathing, so spent most of his days with a mask over his face, sucking on oxygen. When Billy came through the back door, Tiny Bob was slouched on the couch, his head rattling in time with the hiss and click from the O2 cylinder standing beside him. The living room's window was open, and Tiny Bob was dressed in a stained t-shirt and shorts, even though it was a chilly morning in early autumn. The large TV was on, showing an episode of Dance Moms. Bob was watching the little girls jumping and rolling around with a gleam in his eye. "All right," Billy greeted him. Bob turned his way, and when he saw Billy's arm all bandaged up and smelling like last night's kebab, he chortled to himself, making his oxygen mask cloud up. "How's things?" Billy asked, ignoring his mirth. In the corner of the room was a DVD copying machine, which Bob used for churning out pirate copies of all the latest movies. Red and green lights flickered across the console. "Business is booming, can't complain," Bob wheezed. "How about yourself?" Good. Things are just good. Just a slight and temporary setback." "So I heard. It's all over the radio." "I don't know what you mean," Billy replied, which brought more sniggers. He glanced out of the window at the back garden. The grass was overgrown. At the bottom, beyond the rotting fence, was a large expanse of waste ground, where the estate's kids played. Near the middle was a pair of old rusty wrecked cars with their tires removed and their doors missing. Billy turned back to Bob. "About why I came. Is it still..." "In the usual place, yes. Knock yourself out." Billy left him watching the TV and went back outside. He walked along the overgrown path, grabbing a shovel on his way, and paused with the stone flags turned left. On a patch of ground next to the bend, he started to dig, which wasn't easy using his one good arm. After 5 minutes, the shovel struck something hard. Scraping away more soil, he unearthed a rectangular steel box, and bending forward, he tugged it free and placed it on the ground. With a groan of rusty hinges, he lifted the lid. The gun inside was old by the looks of it, the kind his stupid old granddad might have used in the war, before he was captured by the fucking Krauts and sent back to some Stalag POW camp in Poland. But what the hell? Billy didn't care how old it was, as long as it did the job. Burying the steel box again and filling in the hole, he carried the revolver back to Tiny Bob's house. "Is this clean?" he asked, holding up the weapon.
Clean enough for you.
What about billets? I'm gonna need some fucking billets, man.
You'll get your billets after you pay.
Sighing, Billy reached into the inside pocket of his coat and brought out a clear plastic Zippo bag, filled with uppers and poppers. He tossed them onto the glass coffee table. But Tiny Bob was shaking his head.
Not that kind of payment.
And he padded to the couch next to him. Billy stared at the carpet, suddenly forgetting about last night, about his scarred and disfigured arm, about the phone call earlier, and what he needed to do to sort his mess out. His mind was blank as he lowered himself onto the couch and reached across to push his hand down Tiny Bob's huge shorts, and started to squeeze and fondle the big guy's balls.
There's a good lad,
Tiny Bob purred through his mask, his beady eyes fixed on the TV screen. Billy lowered his head down towards Bob's lap, mouth opening, thinking he might be about to puke. Well, we hope that you enjoyed our latest horrific tale. If you want to keep up to date with future episodes, then subscribe to our YouTube channel and like or follow our social media pages. You can also give the channel support by visiting our merchandise store and picking up some of our items. Please also take a moment to support our contributing artists who very kindly lend their talents to the show. Check out the links in the description on how you can do this. Well, that just leaves me to say, until next time my friends, keep it creepy, keep it horrific.